everyone. Welcome to Daily Dictation. Today we are going to do an interactive activity that will help you practice your English. So you'll need a pencil and a piece of paper to practice your English today. What we're going to do is I am going to read you 5 sentences about workplace decisions, and this is going to be for a low intermediate level. So as you write down or as you listen to these 5 sentences that I read, you will write them down and you're going to apply the best grammar, punctuation, spelling, capitalization that you can. Then we are going to go through the answers together, and then I'm going to explain everything that you might need to know about the grammar in the sentences and any tips to help you remember how to spell the words presented in these sentences to help improve your skills in English. After that, I'm going to present to you a list of really important vocabulary words related to this topic, because you will need to know them if you are planning to do an exam like IELTS or something like that, because these topics are usually what is explored in these exams. Plus, this will help you if you do plan on doing this exam, because there's always a listening component where you get like one chance to listen, and then you have to be able to write down these sentences perfectly and take down notes. And this will help you practice your ability to do that. Listen to everything on the first try eventually, the more and more you practice. So let's get into it. This skill is best when you can practice it every day. So I have daily dictation from Monday to Friday. There are new sentences each weekday, new topics each week, and 2 English levels offered. For the activity, you will need a blank piece of paper and a pencil. 5 sentences will be read, and each sentence will be read 3 times and 1 more time at the end. You have to write down each sentence the best you can, and you will use your listening skills to do this. Try your best to apply the correct spelling, punctuation, and capitalization as you write down each sentence. So as you can see on the screen, there are numbers 1 through 5. Each number represents a different sentence that will be read. So I'm going to start with sentence number 1. Number 1. The action plan will guide us through the task. The action plan will guide us through the task. The action plan will guide us through the task. The action plan will guide us through the task. Number 2. We need to review the outcome and decide on adjustments. We need to review the outcome and decide on adjustments. We need to review the outcome and decide on adjustments. Number 3. The vote will help us decide the best option to meet the deadline. The vote will help us decide the best option to meet the deadline. The vote will help us decide the best option to meet the deadline. Number 4. Addressing the issue quickly will ensure we meet our goal. Addressing the issue quickly will ensure we meet our goal. Addressing the issue quickly will ensure we meet our goal. Number 5. The strategy should be revised based on the review of the previous action plan. The strategy should be revised based on the review of the previous action plan. The strategy should be revised based on the review of the previous action plan. I'm going to read each sentence one more time, starting with sentence number 1. The action plan will guide us through the task. Number 2, we need to review the outcome and decide on adjustments. Number 3, the vote will help us decide the best option to meet the deadline. Number 4, addressing the issue quickly will ensure we meet our goal. Number 5, the strategy should be revised based on the review of the previous action plan. All right, so I'm sure we all did a really great job writing down these sentences. Let's get ready to check them out. Now, if you found that it was a little bit too fast, you can listen again and you can adjust the playback speed in the settings of the video, and you can make it go slower. But if you just need to listen to specific sentences again, check the description and you're going to find sentence timestamps for each sentences. Let's get ready to check our answers, starting with number 1. The action plan will guide us through the task. Okay, so let's break it down. The action plan is our subject and it's singular. Even though it's singular and I pointed that out, it actually has no effect on the verb and what it looks like and how to spell the verb because it's in the simple future tense. And so if it's in the simple future, it's going to be the same form every single time, no matter what the subject is. So we have will, guide. This is the main verb. This is the helping verb. And together that is the verb that creates the simple future tense. Us is the object. Through the task. And since it's an object, you need to use the object pronoun. There's a video on that. If you're not too sure, just have a look at my channel and you can find the video on the object pronoun. Through is a preposition and then noun here. This preposition through is really hard to spell. A lot of people get it wrong because they get thought and though mixed up because the spelling is very similar for all of those words, but the meaning and the way it's used is so different. So through, T-H-R-U-O-G-H. When you're spelling these words through, thought, and though, make sure that you are saying each letter when you spell it out. T-H-R-O-U-G-H. Even split it up like this, like I show you, because that really helps you really understand the difference so you don't accidentally spell the wrong thing. Because when you spell the wrong thing, not only is your spelling wrong, but your grammar wrong, your sentence structure is wrong, and your word choice is wrong. All of that. So make sure, like this is one of the hardest things to remember for this word. So make sure that you really, really pay attention. Guide is another hard one, but there's not really a lot of things to help remember. You just have to say each letter, G-U-I-D-E, guide. Let's have a look at the next one. We need to review the outcome and decide on adjustments. So for this one, we is the subject, plural. Need is going to stay in the base form of the verb because it's a non-action verb. So it stays in the base form. Then what we have here is to review infinitive. And then the noun plus We need to review the outcome and decide on adjustment. So there's two things that need to be done. The first thing that needs to be done is reviewing the outcome, and the second thing that needs to be done is deciding on adjustments. Both of these things have to be done together. So that's why we're using the word and, because both of the things have to be done together. So to review the outcome and decide on adjustments. So here we have the infinitive form, to plus base form. In English, we could also say we need to review the outcome and to decide on adjustments, but we're way too lazy. So we only need this to here one time. And so this stays in the base form, and then decide will also stay in the base form. Adjustments is a hard one to spell because sometimes you don't hear the D, adjustments. Sometimes we just hear adjustments because that's the way we usually pronounce it in English. So you need to kind of spell it like add and then space it out to another part, just space out to another part, meant. And then of course add the S in this case. So split it up into three parts. Add, this is the same spelling as like the shortened form for advertisement. Just, we know this word. Meant is a common suffix. So split it up into these three parts so you don't forget the D there. A lot of people forget the D. That will be incorrect. Adjustments, we don't pronounce it, but we need it for spelling. Number 3, the vote will help us decide the best option to meet the deadline. So the vote, this is our subject. Will help us. So will help, simple future, will and then help. So the auxiliary, the helping verb, and then the main verb help. Us, again, we have us, which is our object, and we need an object pronoun, us. Decide, so the verb. The best option, that's a noun with an adjective in there. And then to meet, now we're giving more information. To meet, to infinitive, the deadline, noun again. So overall, just has a lot of grammatical components to it. Even though that's the case, no commas are necessary in this sentence. And option, you should be able to spell this all in one shot, but if not, you can split it up, OP, and then the common suffix is TION. And when you have the suffix TION, it shows that the verb, the word is a noun. Number 4, addressing the issue quickly will ensure we meet our goal. So addressing the issue is the subject. And not only that, but addressing here, even though it's ing, we've seen this before, usually verbs have ing, but because it's acting like a subject in this case, it means it's acting like a noun. So when we have something that takes the progressive verb form, but it acts like a noun, we have a special word for that. We call it a gerund. The issue, remember the spelling is and then sue together. No SH in this word. Quickly is an adverb here, because it has a ly at the end whenever, or most commonly when a word has ly, it's an adverb. There's only a couple of exceptions for that. And adverbs, depending on where they are, they're called adverbs because it's a mixture of adjective and verb. And it's because that's what they modify. So they either modify the adjective of the sentence or they modify the verb of the sentence. Here, the adverb is modifying addressing this. So how is this being done? How are we addressing the issue? Quickly. Will ensure. So another future, simple. And then we have the subject pronoun, we meet our goal. So verb again, and our goal. So we, our is the adjective pronoun that matches with we. So the adjective pronoun, it's an adjective pronoun because it modifies, sorry, adjective possessive because it modifies the word goal here. So it's modifying this. So we need our to match with we. So possessive adjective, that's what that is. Number 5. The strategy should be revised based on the review of the previous action plan. The strategy. That's our subject. Singular. We have a modal should, and then the form of be, so should be. Whenever you have the word should, you often follow it with the base form of the verb. In this case, it's be. Revised is the past participle, and sometimes past participles of verbs actually form or function as adjectives, like here. Based on the review. So these two words, based on, they come together really often in English. When there's two words that come together, like based on, we call them collocations. And also you have to really pay attention to the word that follows it. You want to use on, and no other preposition will work here because that will completely change the meaning of it. So it's true for phrasal verbs. Based on. So these two words come together all the time, and we call it collocation. And when it is the main verb and a preposition together, we often have that as a phrasal verb as well. And then based on, this is the review, the noun. And we have noun, we usually say of the previous noun. So usually we use of to separate noun and noun, kind of to show that there's two different things, but one thing is a part of the other thing. So noun over here. All right, so this is some of the spelling and some of the grammar that is explained on for these sentences. And you can see here, all the bold words are the vocabulary words that are important for this topic. So let's have a closer look at the bold words. So the bold words are the vocabulary that you should review and understand the different forms, how they're used, because the topic relating to work does come up in the IELTS speaking exam and might even come up in other parts of the IELTS exam, but you really want to know for speaking. Option, task, goal, issue, action plan, review, outcome, vote, deadline, strategy. Make sure you know how to put them in your own sentences when you're speaking and writing. Make sure you know how to use them in different forms and be comfortable with them. Besides that, we are all finished for today. Thank you so much for watching. Keep practicing your English the best you can, and I'll see you next time. Bye.